Welcome to another explainer. Look, if you're a business leader today, you are probably hyper-aware of how fast product discovery is changing. You've almost certainly asked yourself, just how visible is my brand when customers search using AI? It's literally the critical question right now, but we need to address a harsh reality right off the bat. If your current strategy for checking your brand's visibility is just, manually typing a few questions into ChatGPT, well, your strategy is failing you. You're operating on a dangerously incomplete picture, and honestly, it could be costing you significant market share.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Today, we're breaking down an executive briefing on exactly why these manual AI searches are steering brands wrong. We'll bust the manual search myth, we'll look under the hood at how AI actually makes decisions, examine some hard data on why manual checks fail, outline the essential KPIs you should be looking at, and finally, map out how you can transition to automated monitoring.
Section 1. The Manual Search Myth.
We really have to start by confronting the most common and arguably the most dangerous misconception leadership teams have. And it usually sounds something like this. Can't I just ask ChatGPT myself? Or why do we need a whole system for this when the app is right there on my phone? It's a completely fair intuition. It makes sense. But here is the kicker. What ChatGPT says about your brand depends entirely on exactly how you ask, your physical location, and the specific answer mode the model decides to trigger in that split second. A single manual run by someone on your marketing team absolutely does not show what your wildly diverse customer base is actually seeing out in the real world.
Section 2. How AI makes decisions.
To really understand why manual searches fail, we have to look at the underlying mechanics. Because AI agents don't just answer questions, they make a series of rapid, complex, behind-the-scenes decisions. Step 1 is intent recognition. Basically, the AI asks itself, is this user just asking a general question, or are they actively looking to buy something right now? Step 2 is retrieval mode. Should the model just rely on its pre-trained internal memory, or does it need to pull fresh, live information from the web? And step 3 is UI structure. How should the answer actually look? A simple paragraph, a bulleted list, or a fully interactive shopping carousel? These combinations produce wildly different outputs, completely deciding which brands show up and which are totally ignored.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the stark contrast between the AI using its memory versus a live web search. When ChatGPT just pulls from memory without those web citations or product carousels, the answers are incredibly stable. They rely on internal heuristics, which are essentially the AI's safe bets. In fact, nearly 60% of these memory-based answers return the exact same legacy brands over and over again. But the moment the AI decides a live web search is needed, which is usually triggered by specific shopping keywords, the whole game changes. New brands suddenly enter the mix, the rankings shuffle completely, and the product selection reflects real-time retail pricing and availability. So if you manually trigger one mode, you are flying completely blind as to how you're performing in the other.
Section 3. Why manual searches fail.
Let's move from theory into some actual, hard experimental data. To test this whole concept systematically, the team at Yotpo ran a brilliantly controlled e-commerce experiment. They took one single user intent, finding the best running shoes for a beginner half-marathoner. Then they tested 6 different prompt variations across 3 different geographies. 3 of the prompts were phrased neutrally, like, what are the best running shoes for a beginner? And the other 3 had explicit shopping intent, like, show me the best running shoes to buy. The core meaning of all these queries is exactly the same, yet these minor little phrasing tweaks end up creating entirely different competitive environments.
83%, just prepare yourself for this data point. In 83% of the question and geography combinations they tested, the actual set of recommended brands changed completely between runs. Just let that sink in for a second. Even with the exact same core question, the top recommendation changed in over half the cases just by tweaking the phrasing slightly or changing where the user was located. If you are sitting in a New York office typing best running shoes, you have absolutely no idea what a customer in London is seeing when they type which running shoes should I buy. It's a completely different world.
To really prove how crazy this variance is, let's look at those safe bet legacy brands, Nike, Brooks, and Asics. In AI memory mode, they completely dominate. They take the top 3 spots in about 60% of the runs. But the second live web search kicks in, their presence drops significantly, and their ranks shuffle all over the place. Now look at Adidas and On. They almost never appear in those memory-only answers. But in live web searches that trigger shopping carousels, boom, they are present in over 60% of the answers. And then you have Altra. They appeared exactly once out of all those tests. It took a highly specific set of conditions, a UK shopping prompt triggering a carousel, and specific citations for them to show up. There is no way you would ever catch that kind of variance just testing manually.
Section 4. Essential AI Visibility KPIs.
So if we agree that ad hoc manual testing is out, what on earth should we be doing instead? Well, when you start tracking AI visibility properly, you quickly realize you don't just want a single answer. You want total coverage. Here are the true KPIs you actually need to care about. First up, brand coverage. Out of all those prompt variants, how often does your brand actually appear? Second, top rank share. Who is truly dominating that highly coveted #1 slot? Third, sentiment. When you do show up, is the AI praising your brand, just throwing out a heavily qualified maybe, or skipping over you entirely? Fourth is UI presence. Are your products successfully making it into those interactive shopping carousels? And finally, citation sources. Which external websites and domains does the AI actually trust when pulling live data for specific markets?
Section 5. Moving to automated monitoring.
So, the crucial point we are driving at is this. Manual checks are a complete gamble, and it's a gamble you simply cannot afford to take anymore. We absolutely must transition to a robust, automated strategy. Here is your step-by-step roadmap for making that happen. Step 1 is a fundamental culture shift. You have to completely abandon single ad hoc queries as any sort of source of truth for your executive reporting. Step 2, implement an automated system that tracks dozens or ideally hundreds of query variations and geographies continuously. And Step 3, actively monitor how your KPIs shift over time. Remember, the inputs feeding these AI models change every single day, and the models themselves are constantly updating. This is a continuous monitoring challenge. It is not a one-and-done audit.
Which brings us to a very practical, direct solution. Because as this research clearly shows, to truly understand where your brand stands in the AI landscape, you need structure, you need repetition, and you need scale. You need a dedicated tool for the job. Yotpo Discover is a tool specifically designed to help e-commerce brands win AI search. Definitely check out yotpo.com/discover/ for even more context on this. Just think about it. If you aren't tracking exactly how AI perceives your brand across every possible variation right now, whose products is the AI recommending to your customers instead? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and we will catch you on the next one.